Hello, universe. How are you? It's hump day. Wow, don't take that the wrong way. So here we are again. Ready to get your workout on? Huh? Are you working out right now? Are you sitting there having a donut while you're listening or watching me work out? I'll pass one of them over here. I want the jelly filled, kind of like glazed or a freshly. Okay, now I'm getting hungry. Okay, never mind. I haven't had or actually, isn't that the most unique way of using words? I haven't had, good grammar there. What I should say is, until I moved to this area, believe it or not, I do not believe I ever had a freshly baked powdered donut. And I moved here, and of all places, there is a place called the Donut Hole. And my ex and I used to go there for donuts. See, this is how random I am. I honestly have like 4 topics that I want to try to talk about. And I start talking about donuts. Anyway, to continue with the fascinating donut talk, it was the first time when I moved to the Houston area that I had a freshly baked sugar donut, powder donut, whatever you want to call it. And now I'm spoiled. Now, mind you, I don't eat donuts that often. I don't care for the ones in the little packages because the taste just is not the same to me. Anywho, sugar donuts have always been the thing that I like the most. That and glazed. Never really got into the chocolate kind. And mostly because I don't like the icing. I like the cake chocolate donuts. And strangely enough, I really like cake donuts too. Good God, I want to get a dozen donuts now. I don't, because I wouldn't eat them that fast, but they would die too quickly with me because I don't eat them that often. But yeah, that's so strange that for 32 something years, I never had let's put it this way, I don't recall, prior to moving here, ever having partaken of a freshly baked powdered donut. And now, yeah, that's just a random thought. You're welcome. So, what's is going on? There's a couple things in the news that are going on, but yeah, let's see. Let's go with those for a second. So, first thing is, if you haven't heard, Edward Snowden via the Great Britain press, has released that the name of the NSA program that monitors email and social media is called the X-Key score. And I don't really know that matters what it's called, because it doesn't change the reality of what it does. Now see, one of the things about it is, I don't honestly I think people are too easy to forgive the government for doing this kind of garbage. And they've become more, instead of taking a position of, we should be more specific about what we're doing and being more respectful of your privacy, instead they've sort of thrown it back at people and said, well, if you've got a better way, then you need to tell us. Almost like blaming it on Americans why they're doing it. Saying, well, you better come up with a better way. Otherwise, it's perfectly legal and there's nothing you can do about it. And the truth is, people aren't doing anything about it. No one's speaking out against it that much. They kind of B&M and throw a little fit, and then they go, okay, well, I can't do anything about it, so I'll get over it. I honestly don't know if people would be as mad. See, the point for me is, even though I already knew they were monitoring that kind of aspect of media, social media and phone calls, they didn't come out and say it. And they weren't forthright with American people saying, hey, we're doing this. It would have been different if they had been forthright about it. And now as that it's come out, they're not pissed that the secrets come out anymore. Have you noticed that? They're not angry that the secrets come out. They're just putting it off on everybody else and saying, well, it's your fault that you don't have a better solution, this is what it is. And for every moment that they've started to change their way of approaching this, and Obama has been, he's been so helpful in the process, saying, we only do it when there's suspected terrorism, we're not looking otherwise. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're doing it just for suspected terrorists. Because you're still, what was the word I used before when I was talking about how they handle the phone calls? They're not listening. They're monitoring, I already know that. But what is the word I was looking for? Analyzing media and phone calls. And they come up with this thing they were saying earlier, where they were saying, if there's a suspected terrorist, when we look at their phone calls, and then the people that they call, we look at their phone calls, and then the people that they've called, we look at their phone calls, and the people they've called, we look at their phone calls, and then the people they call, we look at their phone calls. Well, that's such an indefinite number of people. That already leads to millions of people, potentially. So, really, you are analyzing everybody's phone calls. It's just a nice way of, it's just a dummied down way of telling you, we are listening, or we are monitoring or analyzing everybody's phone calls. We're just not going to say it in a way that you're smart enough to recognize, and we're going to make you think it's only a few people. Come on. If you fall for that, then I have a penthouse apartment at Hollywood and Highland in Los Angeles that I'm willing to sell you for $15. So just give me the $15, and the person to send it to me first gets it, and the rest of them I just keep it as a processing fee. So go ahead, send it to P.O. Box, You're Dumber Than You Look, care of Moron, America, 00001, because that's your IQ. You can't, well, you can. Everybody has a right to do it, for now. You don't just buy everything because they throw it out at you and say, okay, well, hey, we're monitoring it, but if you don't have a better way of doing it, then don't complain, we'll do it our way. They haven't even, if they had asked the people of the United States before and told them we're going to be monitoring, analyzing content that's created by Americans, and reached out to independent companies to try and help ways to monitor terrorism. I'm not saying they had to advertise it in the news, but if they had done it quietly and talked to some of the key programming and surveillance companies or developers in the world, then it would be different. They've never said that they did that. They said we created our program. Well, they haven't said that they created it. They just said we have our program and this is what we do. But the high likelihood is they did it internally. They've never reached out to see if other Americans have got a method of doing it. And most likely, they didn't develop that program in America in the first place. It was probably developed overseas. They probably bought it from a foreign company. Look into that if you want to find out who devised X key. Because guess what? If it was a foreign company that did it, and then the United States government bought that program, do you honestly believe that the developers of that program didn't create a backdoor to where they could get in the event of system failure? Come on. Come on. There's always a backdoor in, and someone has to have the key. Let's just be realistic about it. So the reality is that the United States government is not the only one who has access to that material. That's why it's dangerous. Because it's not just the United States government. Because if they can manipulate those records, and how many people put their information out over the internet on a daily basis and call automated phone lines to make payments on their bills and release their private information. That's where identity theft comes from, is because that kind of stuff. Let's just be realistic about it. That's why it's dangerous. Because it's not just the government that has access to it. The developers of the programs that they use have backdoor access, can utilize it in whatever way they want, and there's no way to track them. You can't say, oh, well, we can prove that they tracked through the program, looked for people's information, and used it. No. Because you know what it does to the government once that happens? It makes the government look even more incompetent. So let's just be realistic about it. This is why there's a problem with the system. And this is why probably some identity theft has occurred. Because